Hello everyone, this is Desy, and this is a recording of the Flaps class I conducted a couple of weeks ago. Many of you wanted to have Many of you wanted to be able to attend and some of you couldn't. So I am going to go ahead and create this video for this class. The video will be broken down into 3 separate segments. So let's get started with part 1 of this class. So some of you should have this PowerPoint presentation. So if you do, you can follow along on your own computer. And yeah, so let's get started. So for the agenda, we're going to be talking about PST and WebPST. I'm going to be talking about our magic links, the client portal configuration window, a new miscellaneous option that we have added, QuickBooks Export, bulk updates in WebPST, new features in the SOP status, such as our new job form, adding comments and attachments, PST Mobile, which involves viewing attachments from PST Mobile, electronically signing returns of service in PST Mobile, and our routing feature. I'm also going to be talking about PayLegal, signing up, showing you guys the dashboard and a new feature of surcharges. And then I'm going to also be showing you guys some existing features just to recap on those and what's coming soon. So let's get started with PST Desktop and WebPST. So the first thing here is about Pay Invoice link. This is the Pay Invoice link that is part of the job done email, and it is a PayLegal feature. Here is a link to my YouTube tutorial video on how that's done. But pretty much what it is that when you are signed up with PayLegal, you have the ability to make it so that every job done email has a pay invoice link right next to the link to invoice. And this is kind of what it looks like. So let me go into my email here. So this is an example of a job done email. So kind of what your clients get. And then right here will be the link to the invoice. So if they want to see the invoice, they can just click there and it's going to show up in PDF format. So there it is. Now, if you're a PayLegal user, you can have your job done emails have this link right here that says pay invoice. So when your client clicks on pay invoice, they can go ahead and get to this window and then pay the invoice for that job. So they're going to have the general information of the job, case information, and the service information all in here. Is going to give them the invoice details and what the balance is. If anything has been partially paid, it will show up here. But for the meantime, for this example, all they have to do is just hit pay. So when they click pay, they can go ahead and pay you with a credit card, a bank account, or if they have, if they're signed into their portal, they can pay with any safe payment methods. And that's pretty much it as far as it goes. Once the payment is submitted, you are going to receive an email of that payment information, and your client gets an email for that as well, which it looks like this. Oh, no, not that one. Let me see. There you go. So this is an example of what that payment receipt looks like. This is what your client receives, and this is what you get to receive if you want a copy of those payments. It'll show the job number and how much for each, and then the total that was paid. So that is as far as when it comes to the pay invoice link. The next thing that we have with Magic Links is a prepayment request. So with prepayment request, you are able to send an email to your client that has a link that will allow them to go ahead and just prepay for the job. So the first thing that you have to do is enter the job. And then from there, you're going to send them an email from the job, kind of like you do with selected comments to client or selected comments to server. So let's go ahead real quickly and let me show you what that looks like. So not this database, but right here. Okay. So if I go to, let's say you already entered the job and you have the job ready to, go out for service, but you need that prepayment first. So in PST desktop, what you want to do is click on invoice. And from here, you're going to click on email and then payment request to client. It's going to automatically populate the amount due. You can change this to be a lesser number, a higher number, that is up to you, but as the default will be whatever is due. So when you click OK, it's going to open up your default email app that is on your computer, so that whatever email application, and then it's going to go ahead and create an email like this. So in this example, the link shows up right here. It's going to have the job number. It's going to have, address to your client, the amount due, and then this is the link that your client can click on to make that prepayment. So if I just go ahead and click on that link, then your client is going to receive this and then can go ahead and hit pay, and then you get that prepayment. And then once you get that email of the payment being made, then you can go ahead and get it out for service. So that's how you do it from the desktop. Now, if I want to do it from from WebPST, the same thing applies. So let me go ahead and log in into my WebPST database, or the same database, but from WebPST. And I'm going to go to that same job. Now from here, we're going to go same thing again to the invoice window. So that's this tab right here, the invoice and server bay. Let me make this window a little bigger so you guys can see. And then it's very simple. You just click email right here and then payment request to client. The same thing applies. It's going to behave the same way. You hit accept and it's going to open up that email client, default email client of yours, just like it did here. And then that's it. And then you just send that email and then your client can get to prepay the job. So that is the other magic link that we have. Here's a video link to it. So if you have the this PowerPoint presentation, you can go ahead and click on that link and watch the video. The next thing is about the this is on the WebPST. So here's the desktop WebPST. There's videos for both. The next thing is the client statement payment. So for those of you who are using the emailing client statement feature in PST desktop, this is what we're talking about. So that email can have a link that will make it so that your clients can pay the statement that you email them. And it looks like this. So your client will receive the email. It has the statement attached, so we can open up that email. It'll show the amount, the total amount due. And then the email will have a link like this where your client can go ahead and click on it. And then it's going to populate all of those job numbers that are on the statement and the balance. And then your client can go ahead and click pay, and same thing. Fill out the credit card or bank account or a safe payment method if they're logged into the client portal, and then go ahead and make payment. And then just like before, you can get a email that is going to show you the payment has been made by your client. Once again, all of these payment features are only able to happen with PayLegal. We cannot do any integrations with this with any other like payment merchant accounts. It's just a PayLegal feature. So let's keep on moving forward. The other thing I want to show is the client portal configuration. So this is where you set up your client portal configuration and how you set up like the links so that they show up on the job done email, and the links so that it shows up on the client statement, and also so you can forward your clients to when they log in into their client portals from your website, for example, it just goes directly into the new client dashboard. So from PST desktop, you want to go to, let me close this out. So from PST desktop, you want to go to setup. You want to go to client portal configuration. And then in this window, there it is. Okay. So in this window, you would use pstprostatus.net to use SOP status. So pstprostatus.net is the old interface. We want all of you to start changing it to SOP status so that your clients can see the new interface, which I'll be showing you guys shortly. And then if you do use PayLegal, you can check the box that you use PayLegal, and then you can go ahead and use the PayLegal payment link field so that it shows up on the client statements if you email them, just like I show you guys. And then you can do add PayLegal payment link to job done email. So you check this box and that pay invoice link in the job done email will show up. You can also have that link show up at the bottom of the client statements itself. So on the PDF or on the invoices. So that's what this is right here. And then after you're done setting this up, you can just click accept, and that's the end of it. For WebPST, same concepts apply. So you would find that you will go up here to my account and then settings. And then you want to go to client portal configuration. And then you would indicate that you use SOP status. And then if you do use PayLegal, then you check this box, and same thing. This is for emailing the client statements. This is the PayLegal payment link on the job done emails. And then for the statement to show up on the message line on the statement and on the message line on the invoices. And then you would just hit accept, and it would all be set. And then here's a video again, in case you guys forget how to do that. You can go ahead and click on that video and check it out. Next thing we have the that's client portal configuration on WebPST. All right. So next thing, we'd have a new miscellaneous option. So we've been hearing a lot of complaints about your clients getting the job done email, and they have both the unsigned affidavit, and then they have the link of the signed proof and endorsed service copy. And so what gets to happen is that your clients are clicking on the unsigned affidavit, the unsigned affidavit. A lot of our customers are getting a phone call, hey, where's the signed one? And, they're not bothering to click the one that says signed proof and endorsed service copy. So to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore, we created a miscellaneous option that will disable the viewable by client flag on the unsigned affidavit after you electronically sign and endorse the service copy. So that's the only time it will happen if you use that feature. If all you do is electronically sign the affidavit and you're not doing the whole endorsed service copy electronically, then you don't have to worry about this. Enabling this doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any harm, or it doesn't change anything the way you do it. So the whole point is that it stops the unsigned affidavit from being sent on that job done email. So your client only gets, let's say, the link to the invoice and the endorsed service copy with the signed proof. That's pretty much what it does. This miscellaneous option is only found on PST desktop because that's where you can enable it for right now. And so to do that, you want to go to, let me change here to the latest version. All right, let me go to setup, and then you're going to go to miscellaneous options. And then in this window, you can make this larger, and it's going to be this last one right here. Disable viewable by client flag for unsigned affidavit attachment after signing and endorsing affidavit. So that's the one that you want to go ahead and enable. And once you do, every job done email moving forward would only have the signed proof and endorsed service copy link rather than the unsigned affidavit as well. So that's all for that. Next, we have the QuickBooks Export. So a lot of people been wanting an integration of QuickBooks with PST, and we're happy to announce that there is a thing called the QuickBooks Export now in WebPST, where you can export your invoice data and import it into QuickBooks. I'm going to show how to run that report, and I'm also going to show how to import that into your QuickBooks account. For my example, I'm only using QuickBooks Online. I know this can be done on QuickBooks Desktop, but you have to purchase, I believe, something called like an importer or something like that. If you guys have some questions about that, you can send an email to support@dbsinfo.com, and then we can send you a link for where that can be purchased. And that's not really us, that's just QuickBooks, it just has to be added onto QuickBooks Desktop. But QuickBooks Online already has this built in. So if you do use QuickBooks Online, then you don't have to worry about it. So let's go to WebPST. And I am going to go into my database here. So I'm going to go ahead and log in into WebPST. And you can access this QuickBooks Export area in two ways. You can either go to Accounting and Reports, or you can go straight into Analytics, whichever one is easier for you to remember. And so you want to go into the Export Invoice Data for QuickBooks Import. Once you click here, you get to run an invoice date range. So whatever it is that you want, if you do this weekly, if you do this daily, that is up to you. So for my example here, I'm going to run some older dates just because this is my test database. You can only export a maximum of 100 invoices per sheet and a maximum of 1,000 lines per sheet. This is not our rule. This is just QuickBooks rule of how much you can import at once. So keep that in mind. And then for the memo type, you can choose either your client reference number. You can use a zone if you use the zone field for, whatever miscellaneous data. You can do party to be served, or the case style or case number. So for my example, I'm just going to do the party to be served. And if you use batch invoices, you can use batch invoice numbers. So, but just for my example here, I'm just going to do party to be served, and I'm not going to do batch invoice numbers. So I'm going to save export to file now. And your invoice data is going to automatically download as a CSV file. So if I open this, this is the data that downloads. So you're going to have invoice number, which is the job numbers. You're going to have your customer. So it's pulling the firm name of your clients. You're going to have invoice date. So this is obviously when the job was invoiced. Due date. There's the memo. So the party to be served in my case. Item is going to be the sales item name, and then description, the quantity, the rate, and the item amount. So this is all the data that gets pulled. Now we're going to go ahead and import this data into QuickBooks. And then we have 75, so 74 invoices, it seems, except for some of these. If it has the same invoice number. So we'll see. All right. So let's go ahead and import this. So let me close this out. It's already downloaded and saved. So we're going to go to, I'm going to go to my QuickBooks Online. So from here with QuickBooks Online, you just go to the settings gear. You're going to go into import data. And then you're going to go to invoices. Right here, you're going to browse your CSV file. I'm going to open that up. And then I like to check add new customers to QuickBooks. So QuickBooks Online is going to pick up on all of those clients. And if for some reason one of those clients are not in your QuickBooks data, it will add it for you. So you can check that box every single time. And if there's no customers to add, if there's no new customers to add, then it's just not going to do it. Next, you get to map the data. So everything with a green check mark has to be mapped with the CSV file. So the invoice number, customer, invoice date, due date, like all of those are there. And then description, quantity, item amount. This one, for some reason, like QuickBooks just doesn't do it automatically. So you always have to choose it, which is the item amount. And then you have the memo. And then you can go ahead and hit next. So 57 new invoices and 1 new customer was found. So we're going to go ahead and complete that import. And this is just going to add pretty much all of those invoices to your QuickBooks import. So depending on how many invoices you have, obviously, sometimes it'll go faster or slower. I do recommend doing this daily just because of that 100 maximum rule that QuickBooks has. So just my advice. All right, so 57 invoices were added. 1 customer was added. Click OK on that. And if I go into my customers, I can see pretty much, invoices. So I have like 5 open invoices here. So these are invoices that I have imported. And yeah, just really easy to do. Here I have 7 open invoices under this client. So this is what you're doing. It won't do payments. So let's say the invoices are paid. Unfortunately, it does not import payment. And it's not that we didn't want to do that. It's just that QuickBooks doesn't have that ability to import that data. So all you can do is just export invoice data, import that into QuickBooks so that you can create the QuickBooks invoices. Just heads up on that. Alrighty, so let's see what's next. And then I have a video link here too, just in case if you want to watch just the process of importing into QuickBooks Online. So next we're going to talk about the bulk assignments in WebPST. So this is our edit multiple jobs feature in WebPST. So let's get out of QuickBooks here. We don't need that anymore. All right. So in WebPST, we're going to go to jobs, and then we have the edit multiple jobs tab up here. So if you go in here, that's what the window looks like. You can add jobs in here by clicking add and then just typing job numbers, or you can do what I like to do, which is just search for the jobs that you want to do an edit to them and then check mark them. And then you would go to edit multiple and then select what you want. So let's do, let's assign like servers to multiple jobs. So I know I have some jobs here that do not have a server. So I'm going to take a few of these jobs. There you go. I'm going to take a few of these jobs and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on edit multiple and assign server. So the jobs have been added to my list here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a server to them. Let me see. All right. So I'm going to start typing the name of my server. Hit accept. And then I'm going to select all. So these are all of those jobs that are on this list. Hit accept. And now 5 jobs have been updated. And if you want to check real quickly, if I go into one of those jobs here, there's the server. So that's how you know. The other thing you can do is, let me actually exit out. All right. The other thing you can do is assign a client. So if you want to change the client of some of these jobs, so you can do, let's see, let me find a client of mine, accept, and I want to change it to like, 2 of my jobs. Hit accept on that. I updated those 2 jobs. Okay. And now they changed to the client I decided to change it to assign to. Same thing goes with attorney. Same thing goes with assign date. So let's say I want to change the action date to May 1st, 2023. Hit accept on that. All 5 jobs have been updated. So if I go into one of these jobs again, let's go to job basics. There's my action date, 5/1/2023. So a lot of useful things that you can do. And then the last one is erase job. So rather than having to erase one job at a time, you can go ahead and, select all the jobs that you want to erase, hit erase jobs, and they will be gone out of the database. Just heads up on that. And then once you're done, you can just click remove all and start over if you have other jobs that you need to do things different with. So that's how you do the edit multiple jobs in WebPST. Now, PST Desktop has edit multiple jobs, but the only thing it has is just the adding a comment, which we kind of know about, which is the same thing. I can just select several jobs. Let's say I want to add a comment. Multiple jobs. You can select any of the checkboxes, hit accept. Hit accept on that, and then that comment was updated to those 3 jobs. So simple as that. Now that's the only edit multiple job feature that PST Desktop has. So if you want to do any of these, you will need WebPST to do it. So the next thing I want to talk about is the SOP status. So this is the new client dashboard that we released last year. This is the new interface. So it's pretty much the same data that your clients are used to seeing on pstprostatus.net, but it is a newer interface, a more user-friendly, in my opinion, and I think is, it's branded to your business as well with your logo and in the color. So in this case, right here where it says your logo, that will be your logo, and then anything that is red would have the color of, your business colors. So this dashboard, this SOP, we've added new features to it. One of them being the new job form. The new job form pretty much allows your clients to submit a new request for service online. The job then gets created into your PST database, which saves you time with data entry. I did create a couple of videos showing you guys pretty much what your clients goes through. If you click on the new job form, that's what that video is. And then if you click on this link that says how to find the job in PST Desktop and WebPST, is pretty much me showing you how you get to find those jobs. And I'm actually going to run through that right now a little bit. So let me gather here the stuff for my example. Okay. So let me minimize this window. All right. So right here, this is what I like to call the landing page of that new job order form. Granted, your clients have the ability to access that from their portal. So for example, let me actually let me log in as one of my test clients so you can see what I'm talking about. So if your client logs in into their portal and you want that ability to order service from the portal, it will show on the side menu. It can say order service or request service online, whatever you want. And when they click on that, they're already logged in by default and they go right into the new order form. Okay. But I am going to show you what your client gets to see. If it is a brand new client, they're logging in for the first time, and from that point of view. So let me get out of here. All right. So in this landing page, if they're an existing customer, they can go ahead and sign in. If they're a brand new customer, let's say, they find you online or whatever, and you have a button on your website that says submit order or order service online, and they land in here, they can just click on sign up. So your client would go ahead and fill out their information. Next, they're going to fill out their address. And then they get to choose a username and a password for their account. Now that they're done signing up, they can go ahead and submit their request for service. So they're in this window that I have shown you previously. So let's go ahead and start our case information. So this is what your client will be doing. They will be filling out all of this information, and this thing will nicely populate on your PST database. So you can see how convenient this actually is for you, because it's going to save you time with the data entry. Let's click next. Now here's going to ask them how many parties they would like to serve on this case. They can select one or 2, 3, or 4 if it's a foreclosure case or if it's a case with multiple defendants. For my example, I'm just going to stick to 1. And then right here, they get to choose whether they're going to be, having you serve a person or a business. And then they can go ahead and select, the document for service. They can select more than one if they have multiples to upload. And then if they have any special instructions, they can type it here. Hit next on that. And then right here, they get to review their information of the case, party to be served. They go ahead and hit submit. And then what it's doing is just putting all of that information into your PST. Now you get to get an email now of that submission of that job. So let me go to my email here. Let's see if I get it. Okay, so right here is my new service email. So this is what you will be receiving. And then when you look at it, it's going to give you the job number. So all you really need to do is just pull up the job number and that's it. So when I do that here from, let's say the desktop is job 11, and there's my job. This is the data that I just did. And then all you have to do is just add your server. You can see that the comments, so oops, let me minimize this. Here's the comments from the client, like the instructions. You can go ahead and review that comment, and then you can go ahead and make sure the invoices is right, make sure that you're charging them properly. You can either do that at the beginning or at the end. That is up to you. But that's pretty much it. And then the attachment, under the attachment, you will have the documents for service, which you can view and then print them out, or perhaps you want to make them viewable by server so that the server can print them out from whether it's a mobile app or pstprostatus.net. That is up to you, but you can do that. So I hit accept, and that job is done. So that's pretty much how your client submits a new job through that new job order form. And once again, I linked to videos showing you all of that, what I just kind of went through here. So if you want to see a video that I just focused on that, I would highly recommend that you watch these. So next we have your clients being able to add comments and attachments on their client portal. So this is something that's been highly requested as well. So let's go ahead and let me go ahead and show you how they do that. So let me actually sign in into, can I go to the, no, let me go ahead and, it should be signed in already. Okay, perfect. So let me go to the recent job list. Your client can go into the one job. And so if they go to comments, they can go ahead and add a comment. They can hit submit. There you go. Submit. So that gets added into the job, and you're going to get an email letting you know that. And then they can also add an attachment. So let's say your client forgot to add something to the job or whatever. They can go ahead and add an attachment, choose the file. Let's say it was, the complaint or whatever. Complaint, and then submit. And they just added that attachment to the job directly. So you get to receive emails notifying you on that. So let's go see what those emails look like. Okay, so right here is the new comment email and the new attachment email. So here just tells me new comment on that job. And then the other one says new attachment on that job. So you just go into the job number and you get to see, let's go to that job number. You get to see the comment that your client added. And you get to see the attachment that your client added. Simple as that. Alrighty. So this concludes my first part of this training class. Next, I'm going to be talking about PST Mobile and some other things. So stay tuned.